Hello everyone, sHreddLines. Well, in today's latest Steam news, we have an update that I just saw coming in for Dirt Rally, and immediately in the comments section I see this big blurb about don't download the latest patch. So the word in the comments basically seems to be, well, what the hell do we do now? We're not really sure what's caused this to break, but for whatever reason, the guys over at Dirt Rally have said that this latest patch has apparently broken the game and you may potentially lose your save. But again, this is early access and this does happen from time to time, and it is sort of part of the territory if you're going to be jumping right into those early access titles. In other Steam news, Steam is now offering refunds within the game. So if you're not having the best experience with your game, apparently what you can do is get a refund. So this was an article that I caught from PC World, and rather interestingly, this guy is speculating that, well, obviously this could lead to a bit of abuse, as it has in the past. I think what he cites in here is, you buy some article of clothing and then you wear it once to whatever function you needed it for, and then you simply return it. So there is some concern that this could in fact lead to a bit of abuse, and I think that's a valid concern. So one of the solutions that they proposed was perhaps instituting some sort of game content limitations. So what they have set up right now is, instead if you've played more than 2 hours, you can't get a refund. But if the game takes you less than 2 hours, does that mean you could play through it and then just get your money back? I mean, with demos being a thing of the past, and most people getting their demos from YouTube and other Let's Players, then what happens if somebody, say, just plays it for a couple of hours, returns it, uploads a video of their review, and then makes a ton of money on it? Is that going to be, I don't know, is that going to be cool with everybody else? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think would be a good solution to Steam's current predicament? In other somewhat hilarious game news, we have news coming to us from GameSpot. So what's happened here is, apparently presidential hopeful Ted Cruz has now claimed that he loves video games and has included Candy Crush Saga and Plants vs. Zombies in his list of titles here. And what does he say? I don't have a console, because mostly as a time management tool. Haha. Because if I had one, I would use it far too much. So here's a person who's a presidential candidate basically saying that he has no time management skills. That's ill-advised, and I'm not really sure how your advisors would allow you to say that when, from what it looks like, they basically just went to the Apple store and just said, alright, what's the most popular couple of games on there, and let's just pretend this guy plays those. So I don't know, I'm not really too convinced about this guy's so-called gamer cred for, however much stock you choose to put in that. But again, this seems a little bit more like a PR move than it does anything really that genuinely to do with gaming at all. So what do you guys think? Should politicians be using gaming as a political football, as a means to perhaps draw in more youthful voters? Let me know in the comments. In other gaming news, it looks like Twitch is going to be banning adults-only games. So if you were looking to do live streams of games like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or the recently released and highly controversial game Hatred, which I think I'm just going to give a miss on. Just, I don't know, if it gets better reviews, or if I see that it gets some interesting DLC, maybe I'll jump in on it, but I don't know, it's just really not that much of a cup of tea. I'm not super into the shoot-'em-ups anymore, and yeah, I mean, if you guys really want, we can give it a run-through. If you don't want to buy it yourself, I suppose I could take the hit. But anyway, Twitch is basically having none of it. They're saying that, yeah, they want nothing to do with adults-only games, and I suppose this also has to do with maintaining a larger audience. So let's say rated, I guess, yeah, adults only. So if it's rated for 18 plus, you're probably not going to be allowed to stream that. So if you did want to stream those, I would take some caution, because you may get your account shut down. I'm not really sure what the consequences are going to be, but I'm not sure what else they could do other than just shutting down your channel. So what do you guys think? Is it a little bit too much of a censorship move, or does this make sense for Twitch based on who they're trying to appeal to? And then other controversial news, the National Post brings us an article about the restriction of e-cigarettes and the ban on flavored tobacco and calorie counts required in restaurants. So this is just a whole bunch of nanny state nonsense lumped into one, and basically each issue is getting conflated with every other issue that's act. So what do they call it here? The Making Healthier Choices Act passed near widespread support from all three parties in a 90 vote. Conservative MPP Randy Hillier acted as the sole opposition. So at least there's one person out there who's saying that, well, maybe we should allow this, or at least give people the option of choosing it. But, yeah, this kind of pisses me off. As a vapor myself, I've been off cigarettes for about 3 years now, and I was able to make the switch almost immediately. I started off with actual e-cigarettes, which are cigarette-shaped. They draw and have basically the exact same experience you get from smoking a cigarette. But, I don't know, they don't have any of the carcinogens that come along with it. So what I moved up to from there was a more cigar-sized, they're called Egos, and it was an Ego battery along with a clearomizer on the top, which would hold a little bit more liquid and a little bit more charge. And what I'm on right now is a variable voltage Rio Grande, and that basically holds 10 milliliters of liquid, about 1600 milliamp hours of charge, and I can control the voltage as I see fit. And because I mix my own liquids now, this kind of stuff pisses me off. So what I would ask is a couple of things. How are you going to define what an e-cigarette is? And then how are you going to define what vaping is? Because if I were to simply put the vaporizer in my mouth and not activate it, is that vaping? I don't think anybody would make that argument. But on the farther side of that spectrum, if you were to blow out a giant cloud of vapor, I think that's probably the behavior that's going to be concerning people a bit more. So what do you guys think? What would be a suitable definition for an e-cigarette, and what is a suitable definition for the behavior of vaping? So what I like to do is a little something I call vaping etiquette. And what this is basically just holding your breath as for about maybe 10 seconds after you've taken a draw off of your portable vaporizer, and all of that water vapor will basically just get absorbed, and then when you exhale, nothing comes out. So this is a good way of, I guess, preventing the moral panic that you're likely to experience if you choose to blow a big cloud of steam in an elevator, or, I don't know, in range of anybody who's maybe trying to quit smoking and hasn't heard of this technology. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, is this something that the government should be interfering with, or is this something that we should continue to have as a choice? Now, the fact that the e-cigarette ban is being conflated with the flavored tobacco ban kind of gets under my skin a little bit as well, because the idea of flavored tobacco to me is, let's maybe bring in a younger audience to buy tobacco, but that completely misses the point of what vaping is all about. Vaping takes tobacco completely out of the equation. So the problem right now seems to be here, Health Canada basically approving them as cessation aids. So in that case, what I think needs to happen is there needs to be evidence to show that these things have an effect. And right now the best we have is anecdotal evidence. But you get enough of that and you start to see a pattern. But again, until you put this into a clinical setting and you start to run proper statistical analysis, you're not going to get enough evidence to prove to Health Canada that these things work. Now, if you had the financial backing that was behind products like Nicorette, this process might be helped along a little bit, but this is a largely fragmented market where there is no central authority building these devices. These are all community made and community used, and they evolve over time. So that fracturing may be something that's holding back vaping a little bit more in the long run. So again, what this thing here is, this is a variable voltage Rio Grande. Again, the way it works, it's a pair of batteries there, each one holding 800 milliamp hours of charge. And this is a 10 milliliter bottle. This is actually not designed to fit in here, but I thought 10 mil was better than 6. Right now I have a well, as best I could describe it, is sort of that old banana medicine flavor that they don't sell anymore because it was too good. That's what I'm rocking in there right now. We have a variable voltage unit up in here with a little wheel, and you basically just dial in whatever voltage you like. It doesn't give you an output, but again, this is all about the hit, so you kind of have to just dial in what you like and leave it there. And the best part about this is that no matter what the charge is in the battery, this regulates the voltage to give you the same hit every time. Up top I have a 1.5 ohm vapage atomizer, and this is designed for bottom feed, so it has holes in the bottom, so as the cup fills up, it'll continue to draw in the excess liquid up into the atomizer coil, which heats up and sends a whole bunch of vapor into your mouth. So again, they do produce quite a lot of smoke. Well, again, I keep calling it smoke, and that seems to be the problem because everybody else seems to want to think it's smoke as well. But again, this is a combination of glycerin and glycol, which are inert hydroxyls that basically just hold on to water molecules. And into that, we're going to add the same kind of flavoring that you would put in hard candy. But instead of putting, cornstarch and sugar to make hard candy, you just put glycerin and also nicotine. I run it about a 2.5, pardon me, to 3% solution. And I find that works quite well for me. So when you make your own liquid, it is a bit of a chemistry experiment, but you can come up with some pretty interesting results. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a decently healthy alternative to smoking? Or do you think this is regressive and we're going to cause people to start smoking cigarettes again? Let me know in the comments. So finally, just a quick word on vaping etiquette once again. So if you guys watch closely, if I exhale within about 2 seconds or so, there's going to be a big cloud. But if I wait, that cloud tends to be diminished quite significantly. So if you were to do that in an elevator, or again, any sort of confined environment where people might not know what's going on, it can make people uncomfortable, so don't do that shit. And there again, so no cloud of vapor. So if this is the difference between what is considered vaping and not, then perhaps this legislation can be bypassed altogether by simply not being a jerk about where you choose to vape. Thanks again for tuning into this episode of sHreddLines. Hope to see you next time.